Joint attention in children is one of the earliest skills that we should be teaching as ABA professionals. It encourages social engagement and for the child to bring others into his or her world. So, how can we be teaching this important skill?
Hi, I'm Shira.
And I'm Shayna.
We are behavior analysts that create weekly content about how to teach kids with autism so that they make real progress. And we create shareable resources to make your job just a little easier. Today's topic is all about joint attention in children. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on new video releases.
So joint attention was something that we didn't teach 20, 25 years ago. I mean, it was there, but we didn't really know much about it. And we always started with receptive and expressive language. I know we didn't even teach manding first. I know. But when my daughter was born, it really drove home the point of we really do need to be teaching joint attention right from the get-go. So my daughter does not have autism. And by the time she was about 6 months or so, already she was referencing me constantly. She was following me with her eye gaze around the room. Every time I would leave the room or go across the room, she would watch me. And that's what typically developing kids do, is they watch adults constantly. You know, when they see something really exciting, you know, they look at the exciting item, but then they look at the adult and then they look back to the really exciting item like, hey, did you see that? Check that out. And, you know, similarly, if a stranger walks into the room or somebody unknown to them, you know, they'll reference you to see if that person is safe. For children with autism, joint attention can be a lot more challenging. And oftentimes it needs to be taught. It's not just there from the get-go. So the question is, what do we do about this?
And the nice thing about teaching joint attention is that it is one of those pivotal skills. And if we can really get kids at a young age to start to socially reference and share experiences with the people around them, that's going to make other types of learning so much easier. So what really is joint attention? Check out the article about Holt in 2005, which is called An Operant Analysis of Joint Attention Skills, where he talks about, in technical terms, joint attention means the simultaneous engagement of two or more individuals in mental focus on one and the same external thing. So what that really means is that you are looking where someone else is looking.
I really look at it as a triangle approach. So if you draw out a triangle and you've got, an individual, say mom or the caregiver on one point in the triangle, then you've got the child at the other point of the triangle, and then the item or the object at the third point of the triangle. And really it's about the child looking at one point of the triangle and then looking at the other point of the triangle and referencing back and forth along that triangle. So according to Early Start Denver model, this is where we get a lot of our information from. The Holt article, Bridget Taylor also has an article, but the Early Start Denver model gives us really, really nice teaching steps. And if you take a look at some of our data sheets as well, it's broken down according to teachable steps. So let's take a look at that. So this data sheet is responding to and initiates bids for joint attention. So the very first thing is really just to teach the student to look at an item when the instructor says, wow, or look. This is a pen, it's really boring, but if I had a really exciting item, all I want the student to do is look at the really exciting item. So if I go, oh, wow, I want the student to look at this item. That's the only thing I want to do. And I'm going to just, take data, yes or no, 10 trials. Can the student do it?
And you have to be a little bit over the top, like do something silly, do something outrageous. You're trying to get their attention to look at this item.
And then the next step would be for teaching the student to look back at the instructor after the student has looked at the item, right? So first step is look at the item, but then it's look back at the instructor, right? So the instructor may need to comment first and go, wow, look. And then to get the student's attention again after they've looked at the item, they may need to say, did you see that? Or something along that lines. And then we fade that out. So the instructor is no longer commenting. It's just expected that the student looks back to the instructor. And then the next step of that is teaching the student to initiate a bid for joint attention. And what do I mean by that? We want the student to be able to say, look, or wow, or if they're not verbal, even if they can just go, oh.
And a really good SD for that is, again, like do something over the top and silly. Like sometimes we'll put on a silly hat, or we'll put something down the kid's shirt, or we'll do something that's like, they have to look at you and be like, did you see what just happened? So it really has to be like over the top and super silly. And so don't be afraid of doing that. So remember, we want our to learn, to follow the point, to look at something in the distance, and then to reference us and look back at us. And you want it to be really fun. These things should be taught in a really fun and natural setting. Do it during play, do it during using their favorite toys and books, pointing to pictures in books. I love those little peekaboo books where you can kind of like open the flap and it's super exciting. And then you get some of that joint attention and referencing. So make sure that you're making it really fun and engaging. The goal is engagement. And if you're not engaged, the student's not going to be engaged.
Definitely get down to their level. Check out other blogs that we have as well for using differential reinforcement, and also for the blog on transfer trials.
So in summary, we talked a lot about joint attention, really what it is, what is joint attention, why it's so important, and how to teach it to your learners.
Click the link in and around this video to become a Behavior Pro member and get data sheets like the one we just showed you, and many more on joint attention and other data sheets as well.
For more information on joint attention in children, click the link on or around this video or in the description to become a Behavior Pro member. We also encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos, and leave a like and comment below if you have further questions.